His ass is what I would say if I was a liar. Overall though, what this video is going to be about is just a review on Gravity, a fruit that was recently revamped in update 17.3, and we're just going to be seeing, is this fruit good or is this fruit bad? Now, I'll give you my brief opinion on it and what I think of the fruit based off of me using it. So I just want to put this out the way. I do have a bias towards Gravity. Inside GPO, it was one of the fruits that I was known a while for having a huge amount of, I guess, love for the fruit. And I feel like that will carry over to any One Piece game because here I am in Blox fruits with the same fruit, and I definitely do enjoy using it. So I just want to put it out there in case you think I'm just using the fruit because I don't like it or I just want to pick on it. I actually do like Gravity. But moving on to the fruit, moving on to how well the fruit actually does in Blox fruits, there's going to be certain aspects that we need to look at it. So when you play Blox fruits, you're mainly playing Blox fruits for two things. Number one is definitely going to be grinding, and number two, you have PvP. So I feel like the best way to scale how good this fruit is would to be showing it off in every instance of grinding, which would be killing NPCs, killing bosses, and then doing raids. And then after that, you need to show how the fruit fares in PvP, which is just player versus player combat. So with the help of me and my team of wizards who, you know, have been cooking stuff up inside the lab, I feel like I was able to get a taste of Gravity inside every instance. So I've had this fruit before, and I recently had to grind up to get the last skill, which was Meteor's Rain. So I had to grind all 311 mastery of this fruit. And in the time while I was using it, I felt like I have a good sense of how the fruit actually fares inside the game. I was told that the fruit was going to be terrible, or I just shouldn't eat it at all and I should use it for trading, because most times that you see Gravity, or if you're a Blox fruit player and you have Gravity yourself, you're not going to eat this fruit. Now, there's those select people that do eat this fruit, like me. And then there's the people who think that the fruit is bad and don't want to eat it, like that person on the other side of the screen. So what happens when you actually do eat the fruit? Well, you get powers of Gravity. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can do a Gravity push. You have Gravity Obedience, which is like this get down skill. You have a Meteor Pitch, which summons one single meteor, and then you have Meteor Rain, which brings in multiple. And you can also fly on a boulder too. The flight isn't the best, but it's still a movement skill at that. That's pretty much all the moves for Gravity, and I might as well just go right into talking about Gravity for PvE. So I'm gonna start off with the most common thing that you do inside Blox fruits, which would be grinding NPCs. And I'm talking about mobs like the snow troopers, where you have to defeat a certain amount of them. So when it comes to Gravity for grinding NPCs, keep in mind I'm only level 1000. But right now, I definitely do feel like the fruit is good for this. Like, if I'm rating everything on a scale of 1 to 10, Gravity for grinding NPCs like this, it's going to be, I would say, like an 8 or a 9. So I was recently farming my vampire quest mainly to get mastery and to get some EXP and cash. And I've had like a little system with Gravity where I would go around and I would hit every single NPC. And since the fruit was recently revamped, what you can do is you can use Meteor Rain at the start, and if you hold X instantly right after that, like all of the NPCs will stay still for the Meteor Rain. And I'm saying this because if you just use Meteor Rain on NPC singularly like this, they'll actually get knocked back. So if I do this right here, as you can see, that NPC quite literally went flying, and I only got hit by like 2 or 3 of the meteors at most. And when you're grinding NPCs, that's not really what you want to happen, because you want to kill them as fast as you can so you don't have to spend much time on the quest and going through stupidness. But as you can see, when you use it with Gravity Obedience, the NPC stays still, and if you get hit by every single meteor while using Gravity Obedience, it does like 29,000 damage. So I'll actually just show it to you right now. If you see here, so I just use Meteor Rain like this, and then I hold X, and if you look at that, that did around 14,000 damage, and this is 2 NPCs, so if you cut 14,000 in half, that did 2,000 damage to each NPC. Okay, that was a joke. What? But pretty much 7,000 damage to each NPC. And keep in mind, you also have other skills like a singular meteor called meteor pitch, and you also have gravity push too. So it keeps them off of you with gravity push in case you get overwhelmed and all the NPCs start coming to attack you. Or and you also have the meteor pitch, which also can knock them back off of you like that. Overall, the fruit for grinding NPCs like this is actually just like perfect. Like honestly, it really is just the X skill and the V skill is what you'll be using for grinding NPCs, because it just makes it so easy. Like I'm level 1000 and I can easily just come over here, gather each and every single NPC, use my V skill and hold X, and then they're like either one shot or they're just gonna be dead. So gravity, it makes farming very easy, and I definitely do feel like it's good for this. Now, I've had gravity before the rework, and I actually switched off of it because it was hell to farm. I don't remember exactly what it was like. I'm pretty sure I'll have a video of it up on the screen right now of what the old gravity was like, but I'm pretty sure it was damn near terrible for farming. Like, everything would knock back and the skills wouldn't even go with each other, which is most likely why I switched off of it. But the gravity right now, it's perfect for farming and it just makes it easy. So honestly, if it's for farming like this, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And if you want to eat it purposely for farming like this, keep in mind there's way better fruits. Like I recently done a tier list for grinding fruits inside Blox fruits, and I put gravity at like a number 9 or 10 on the list. I would probably take it off the list, but it's still decent is what I would say. Like I would eat this fruit if I just wanted to do this. Keep in mind there's always better though. And moving on to the next instance for PvP, which would be farming bosses. Now, the only boss that I really did farm with this fruit would be Fujitora. It wasn't just like a ego test or anything to see who's the better gravity user, I promise that. But he is the only boss that I was really farming with this fruit. And honestly, it's kind of the same thing for the snow troopers, but it's just easier because he's a pretty easy boss. He has the old gravity rework, so it's just like his meteors go everywhere and it's not really hard to fight. But if I'm assuming like other bosses, because I could imagine fighting low gravity, I feel like gravity would not be the best. So I'll just go off of fighting low, since that's what most players probably do fight, like high level bosses that move around more, versus Fujitora, who just stays stationary. So if you're going to be eating gravity to like try and farm bosses, or how I'm rating it for farming bosses, honestly out of 10 I'll probably give it like a 4 or a 5. And the only reason as to why I'm saying this is just because of the combo with gravity obedience and meteor rain. If you can hit off that combo, you do a lot of damage. Well, not a lot, but you do decent amount of damage to the boss, and you can probably get credit off of that because it's not really a hard combo to do, and it's literally you dropping every single meteor while keeping them still and doing damage consecutive too. So it's like, it is going to be a good amount of damage. However, if you compare that to other fruits like Buddha, Venom, Venom's crazy. Buddha, Venom, Dough, like gravity does not compare to these fruits, and I'm comparing it to those fruits because gravity is a mythical fruit, which I feel like I should have said that earlier, but gravity is the mythical fruit. And if you're putting this in like a tier list of mythical fruits and you put it at the bottom, I truly cannot complain with that. Gravity probably is the worst mythical fruit, which is honestly kind of crazy to me because it's gravity. But yeah, gravity for bosses, do not, no, like trust me, you don't want to use this fruit for bosses. It's not good. You'll probably just die. Like I can only imagine what it's like to fight low with this, and I don't want to imagine that because you just shouldn't be doing it unless you have like friends or stuff. Another brief issue that I'll also mention with gravity for like farming bosses or anything like that is if you use gravity obedience and you get hit right before using the skill will actually cancel. And what that pretty much means is that the skill has like a brief frame where you don't have hype armor, or what I should say is like iframes, I guess, and I'm pretty sure most skill has that. But if you use it with gravity, the skill will get cancelled if you get hit, is what I'm pretty much just trying to say. Which is a good thing because mobs can easily use ranged skills or just overpower you when you're farming, and having your skills cancelled, well, you know that's a bad thing. And then moving on to that, the cooldowns for some of the skills on gravity just feels like it's too long. And I'm mainly talking about the X and the V skill. These are literally like your bread and butter skills, the skills that you will most likely be using the most in any type of farming situation. So the fact that those also have a long cooldown too, and if you get hit during the startup of your X, which will lead into your V, it'll stop. It doesn't really make it a good thing. Outside of that though, we're actually coming up on gravity for the last PvE instance that I know of inside Blox Fruits. I'm pretty sure you can also farm CBs and stuff too. But gravity for raids. Yeah, gravity for raids. I mean, it's like, it's honestly like a 5 out of 10, and that to me literally means the words okay. Gravity for raids is okay. Now, I did the easiest raid that I can do, which is the flame raid. I did it with one friend who was Buddha and one friend who was Phoenix, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't what you would want to prefer inside a raid, because if you're trying to just solo a raid yourself, you're not going to be able to do it in gravity. Honestly, the perfect way for me to describe gravity for raids would just be a support fruit, because you can hold down the enemies with your X, and then your friend who's like, let's say a Buddha or a Doe, can easily come and just hit them. That's what I would say. And it doesn't really add up, because in Blox Fruits, skills are mainly like designed for hitting multiple enemies, so the fact that you can hold them down still, it's a bonus, but fruits were already made to be doing that in general, just have a lot of AoE. So you're like literally just a support unit, and I guess you can also call a meteor in to like save your friend if they're about to die. That's it. Why would you want to use a support fruit when you can use something that can actually do the damage and get it done? Like, I feel like that's the problem with gravity. Like, it's kind of underwhelming in a sense for grinding and stuff like that, but you can also make good use of it, because I've seen like people do some crazy things with it. That's mainly for PvP, so I'm not gonna talk about it much now, but gravity, it definitely is a little bit underwhelming for PvE. So yeah, that would really be it for what's it called, gravity and Blox Fruits. Like I said, the fruit, it's not bad for PvE, but you can literally just find better, and I feel like that's what you should be aiming for. So overall, if I'm rating gravity in total, like everything for PvE, I would give it I want to say a 6, but I'm going to say a 5 out of 10. Gravity is a 5 out of 10 farming in Blox Fruits. Now, I already explained why overall, but you can also just use it yourself. Once you reach max level, you're not going to be farming NPCs like that anymore. You're probably just going to be doing bosses so you can get certain drops, or you'll probably also just be doing the factory raid, which is one thing that I forgot to mention, because I haven't actually done a factory raid with gravity. So outside of that performance rating on gravity for PvE, you might as well go into the next thing inside Blox Fruits that players do, and that's PvP. So gravity for PvP. Now I'm going to be honest, my gravity for PvP, I'm level 1000. All my friends who play this game are either way higher than me or way lower than me. So when I decided to fight one for PvP clips for this video, you can see exactly what happened. The file got corrupted, but I got my ass beat badly. So yeah, my PvP experience with gravity, it's not the best. However though, I can definitely see how people would make this fruit work, and to me it just ties back into you having your X and your V skill. Now when I was PvPing with it, I didn't land these skills at all, because let's say that you see somebody using meteor pitch, right? You just press R. That's it. It's not like the AoE of the meteors are huge too. If anything, they're very small for a meteor, and it's to me it's just like, yeah, you're not getting hit by it. And not only that, you can also just Geppo. Now keep in mind, you only do have 10, but the meteor comes down fast, right? Like, look at the AoE for that. It's just not that big. And if you just Geppo like 3 times inside the air, boom, you're not getting hit by the meteor. If you use R, you're literally not getting hit by the meteor. So it's just like, yeah, like I could see how somebody would rate it terrible for PvP, because in Blox Fruits, right, if you're PvPing, you want to have a skill that has huge AoE. Like Buddha has huge AoE, Doe has huge AoE, Venom has huge AoE and poison damage on top of that, Revamped Magu has huge AoE. Everything has huge AoE. Then you come to gravity, which has mediocre AoE. It's just like you're not hitting anybody who's moving around too fast. And most people are usually moving like this, using Soru, freaking using their skills that lunge them forward. And it's just like, how are you supposed to get them to stay still for like 1 to 2 seconds so that you can land a meteor on them? And even when you do land a meteor on them, it doesn't do much damage. So it's like, yeah, only combo I can really see, or like some of the combos that I do see inside the YouTube videos, is if you land gravity pitch, they usually follow it up with like a fighting style that's like God Humor or something, and like they do a combo off of that. Then they like switch to their sword, and they probably just drop a meteor to try and predict where they're gonna go. You can make the fruit look good. So PvP, I mean, everybody should know this, but PvP, it solely depends on the player. If you're good at the game and you can make gravity do good in PvP, you'll see it be a good PvP fruit, and it can be. But if you're looking at it for the general player and you want a PvP, do not eat gravity. Like, we can just be honest, it's not the best fruit for that, and you shouldn't be eating it for that reason. So if I'm being honest, I do know that there are some pretty crazy combos you can do with gravity for PvP, but if you're rating gravity overall for PvP, I'll give it a 5. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 10. It's walling. Oh, he's not catching me. He's not catching me. Oh, he's not catching me. He's not catching me. Yo, bro. What is wrong with these Buddha users? What is wrong with him? You're not catching me. I guess this is a good thing for gravity. You could run from Buddha users like Jeff Quirty dude. Yeah, there you go. That's a good thing for gravity. So yeah, honestly, gravity, I'll give it a 4 out of 10 for PvP, and for PvE, that's getting a 5 out of 10. Which, if you're doing your math the right way and you're placing gravity overall based off of my opinion, by the way, gravity is a 9 out of 20. And what does that mean? Don't eat the fruit. That 9 out of 20 is like right next to half, and I think that's the perfect rating for gravity. Yeah, it's below average. Like, do not eat this fruit. Well, I wouldn't say don't eat it, because like I said, you can literally make it look good. I eat it because at the end of the day, to me, Blox fruits, it's really just like a grinding game. So you should just So Blox fruits is a grinding game, and you should just eat what you prefer and what's fun at the end of the day for you. But if you want to eat gravity from like a point where, you know, you want to actually play the game and experience some of the things easily, don't eat gravity. That's not what it's for, I would say. It just makes it harder or mid. So yeah, overall, let me know what you think about this. Like, please let me know what you think about gravity, because remember, I have a bias to the fruit. Even though I said all those bad things about it, I'm still gonna use it. You can also look inside my inventory. It's not the brightest for fruits. It's not the brightest, but you know, I have gravity, and that's enough for me. So yeah, let me know what you think about gravity, and like the video, or else a Buddha user named Jeff Quirty dude is gonna come and attack you while you're recording, even if you're not a YouTuber. So yeah, thanks for watching.